We're in Clovis, California. We just finished installing this Moen valve. This is straight out of Ferguson. This is the Brantford. And then also the Moen Impact rough-in body for a Roman tub sitting underneath. And so what we did is we took out this old valve and the bottom, which, let's see if I can get you a picture in here. So the bottom of the tub was, it had some mold and the press board was corroded, so we took some new 1/2-inch plywood and we cut a nice little triangle out of it. Let's see if I can get you a picture up in there. Cut a nice little triangle out of it. As you can see, there's the old press board over there. Here's the new plywood. And so you can see it incorporates the hot valve, the spout, actually the cold valve, the spout, and then the hot valve there. The reason being is that press board that you see over here was pretty torn through, and it was pretty soft. And the bottom of these mounting brackets we'd like to see nice, up against nice new material. So this is 1/2-inch plywood that we put in here. So it's a pretty big piece, like 14 inches down the one side, 14 down the other, and then cut a 45 and just screwed it to the old deck and mounted it. So everything's mounted correctly. We've tested the valve out. Everything looks good. It's tightened out and good from underneath. We did make a connection to PEX from the existing copper. So you can see right there what they had was some old supply lines, the copper corrugated supply lines that screwed into there. So we just took them out, put a PEX adapter in here, and then you can see this one it rolls up kind of up and around. So if you were to follow it back, kind of straps there, rolls back in in here, rolls and then rolls down to the bottom right there and comes back up. So it's just a big loop, you know, from back here. You can see it. That's that one. It comes around, and the other one we had to kind of sneak it around. You can see it mounts. We had an Uponor brass 90, so male pipe by Uponor pipe, and so we came down here and then strapped it there, went over to the bottom, put a 90 on, came back up, and you can see it tied in to the far side. The rest of it comes with it. The hose kit with the Y, the braided hose kit, that comes with it. So it just goes from the outlet port of each valve, and then it just kind of swings and loops around and goes back in. Everything's held in by retaining pins right here. So, and this is a kit we bought from Ferguson as well. You can buy it for Uponor, crimp pipe, CPVC, variety of items, iron pipe, whatever you need. So we're tied in. Water is onto the home. We run water through the sinks, water through the tub. There's no leaking down here. I know you'd requested to try and get a panel that matched the color of your tile, but this is the paintable cover that comes with it. Now, honestly, doesn't look too bad. You can see the color difference between the bright white and then the primed panel. But this is a very expensive panel, by the way. We didn't go to Home Depot and buy you a cheap panel. This thing runs about 60 bucks over at Ferguson. So we did you a solid in here, you know. If you want to paint it and try, you know, if it annoys you and you don't like it, you can certainly have it painted, you know, gloss white, hard to match, you know, the color of the tile with that panel. But anyway, so that's a very nice panel, solid steel. It's screwed in at the bottom and then screwed in at the top. So that's all good. Panel's good, and then just a little screwdriver. Sorry, I put my hand right in front of the camera. A little screwdriver to close it right here. You just take that guy. Sorry, I'm not taking a picture. So you just turn it straight up and down there, and it locks. And then vertical or horizontal is open, vertical closed. So that panel's good. It'll give you access forever, which means, you know, you can get in there and work on stuff, do whatever you need to do. You do have a slight discrepancy in tile right here. If you feel right here from this very front tile right here, this tile to this tile, this one is substantially lower. And so what you've got is a big drop off right here, and it's not focusing right now, so that's too bad. It's hard to focus when it's up that close. But what's happening as a result is this spout wants to kind of lean forward. It wants to move because it's rocking across the grout seam right there. So it's wanting to move, and it's hard to show you that because I'm trying to hold the camera and move it at the same time. But you can see that little bit of movement right there. It's because it's rocking right there. We did shove. The only thing we'd find thin enough to fit in there is one of our utility knife blades. We slid it in there just so it's got a contact point around here and here. So it's literally slid underneath just to keep it somewhat of support. But there's about a 32nd to a 16th of an inch gap right there, and it allows this to move. So don't use this spout as a grab bar. Don't move it back and forth. Don't do anything with it. Just let that run. You know, don't pull back and forth because it will turn. The only thing that's holding us right now, there's a set screw in there. So you take it and you tighten it onto the brass. That's what holds it in place. But if you take it and start moving, if you move this back and forth, it will move and it will begin to cut a groove in the brass. So just hands off on this. And I don't mean to sound aggressive. I just mean simply, hands off on this. And then these, to operate them, real easy. You don't need to crank them on, crank them off like you had on the old faucet over there. It's just simply, one finger, this thing turns all the way on, and that's it. And you can see the flow. And then one finger all the way off. And don't push it beyond, it's one finger. Don't push it beyond that, because you start to strain and stress everything in here. Same thing with this side. You can see one finger, it's done. So it's a real nice faucet. It's a real nice installation. Panels in, faucets in, scope of our work is done. Outside of that, we are good.